Right, ladies and gents, good evening. Nice to see you all. Packed house tonight here at the exercise stadium. I have it on good authority. I think the works are still going on Wetherby Road, aren't they? We've got the closure, yeah, Wetherby Road, shut off 7 till 12. So Sarah said we're going to have a lock-up. So, happy days. Here we go, we're here for the night. Lay out your campers. I was a little bit panicky when I first got here because I opened my clipboard thinking to find my notes, and I found that. That's little flowery picture, which is what happens when you give a 7-year-old your clipboard. So we'll keep that one safe. Normal procedure, I'm recognising plenty of familiar faces, so we're going to go along the panel. We're going to allow them to have a little chat, then we'll have a nice little drinks break. And then we'll get stuck into questions. So if you think of any questions along the way, obviously we'll get stuck into them in the second half. So without further ado, we'll do the formalities. Please put your hands together for tonight's panel. We have Chief Executive Sarah Berry. On this end, we have Hamilton Mattock, Fan Engagement Manager. We also have, joining us tonight, nice to see you, Lindsay Barraclough, Head of Community Foundation. Chairman and top man, Mr. Irving Weaver. And the gaffer, Mr. Simon Weaver as well. Sarah, you've got the microphone. We'll come to you first of all, if I may. And exciting news this week, the rewards programme.
Very exciting news.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more? Because this is a great partnership.
I'm deflecting because Hamilton, to my left, is going to be expanding on that.
Okay, so we'll save that. We'll tease.
So
ladies and
that's
gents.
the teaser.
All right. So first of all, if I can ask you an update on the regulator.
Yeah. Oh, I'll stand up, shall I?
Yeah.
I have to take my specs off because I can't actually read with them on. Yeah, good question. So, where was I last Wednesday? I was in a room in Manchester with 115 clubs, which was apparently the first time in history that's ever happened. So we had all the Premier League clubs, all 72 EFL clubs, and all the National League clubs in the same room. I know, and everybody was friendly. Inviting, all the EFL obviously reps and Premier League, the new independent football regulator chair and chief exec that had been, I think, announced the day before, and their senior team, all in the same room at the National Football Museum in Manchester. So that was in itself quite a historic day, I think, from that. We had a team meeting. It wasn't a public meeting, so it wasn't one that, I can't tell you everything that was discussed, but I'm going to give you the highlights. I hope I don't get into trouble for this. There's nothing here. So first off, I just wanted for those of you that, I know some have followed this all the way through and some are kind of not really sure what this is all about. So the role, first off, of the independent football regulator, which is now formed, is really going to start in earnest from November. So their objectives are to protect and to promote clubs, the financial soundness and the financial resilience for clubs, and basically to safeguard the heritage of English football. From good or bad examples of what can go wrong. More recently with Morecambe, you can see what's happening with Sheffield Wednesday, and obviously that's close to our hearts here, with obviously Simon and Irving, big supporters, and have played there. It's really sad. Obviously Bury, we've countless examples. So this has been going on a few years. It's been in the making. It's finally here. And the first priority is to assess the suitability of owners and directors and senior execs. So we already have an owners and directors test. It's quite robust. We have to go through that every single year currently. However, it's going to be reviewed, and that's going to be one of the first focus areas that clubs are now in consultation period with, ready for next year. And how they're going to work it's a bit like media. I obviously used to work in media with Pete, and radio stations are given licences. Now that's going to be the same for football clubs. So each football club will have to apply and get a licence. So initially it will be a provisional licence, and then obviously once they've done their due diligence on each of the clubs, hopefully you'll be granted the real thing to pass the test effectively, whether you're going to be sound owners. And then the next thing, but they're doing this at the same time, is they're reviewing all the rules and all the regulations within football. I know that in itself is going to be a big job. So this is supposed to be ready for the new season next year, 26-27. And yeah, so then obviously one of the biggest and key priority for a club like ours, as you know, is what they're going to do about this financial redistribution, because that's the biggest challenge, the biggest headache that we face, and not just us, most clubs within the EFL, many in the National League, and that is really what we need to know what's going to happen there. And they're going to do a new state of the game report. Hopefully that should be done complete, results of which will be within the next 18-19 months. So that's going to be another priority. And coupled with that, loads of different things. Fan engagement is huge. I feel we're ahead of the game on that. We already believe that is the way forward. That should be a top priority. Hal's going to expand on the new fan advisory panel, and delighted to see some of you in the room here tonight. That's a huge part of what football clubs are about. And as I say, I think every fans forum, we understand the fact that we're custodians of this football club. But the supporters are the most important stakeholders in any club. So that's going to be a big part of it, really. And that's all, as much, I'm just looking at my notes, as much as I can probably tell you at the moment.
Okay, so onto the youth setup and the progression that we've had with the fantastic partnership, which is a few months down the line now, with Rossett. And Josh stepping into his new role as well with the youth team. So how's it all going?
Well, obviously seeing Josh as a player and a captain for our team for, 8 seasons, I think, blows you away anyway, just watching him play and lead the leadership, and he's just got the biggest voice. So we brought him over to the dark side, to the business end. And to tell you what, I said to Simon now, and I think I'd only worked with Josh like a day or two in his new role as Director of Youth Football here. And what a breath of fresh air. I mean, if you've ever worked with anyone that works like 200 mile an hour, and you can't
the force is strong with this
one. You know he's in the building before he's in the building. That's what it's about. And he's a driving force. So working with Ryan Smith, also Kevin as well, for the Centre of Excellence, absolutely. It's early days, but we can see the potential there. So yeah, Josh, he heads up the under-18s now with Rossett. Rossett's become our new football academy, and that's working really well. We've got 22 strong cohort representing us up at Rossett. For our first year of a 2-year course. It's a BTEC course. That will double next year as we bring in a new cohort. And it's really exciting because it's a genuine, real pathway into first team, and that's what we're looking for, local talent. We're also working, although I don't want to say who yet because it's not signed and sealed, but we're working on a new partnership as well, which will complement that with another partner. And that could result in another 3 or 4 teams different age groups as well, and a wider sort of catchment area that could even go beyond the UK. So that's really exciting, and I'll tell you more on that one when I can.
Exciting stuff. Sound going international, fantastic stuff. And also, I think with the name at Rossett and all the young people who attend Rossett as well, it's just great to get the club's name out there and create a bit of a buzz, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think what we can offer, our USP is the badge. You know, it's been a football league club, Harrogate town, being really proud to wear that badge, and also we can open doors. We've got such good relationships with the people that we've now got involved with the club across the board on the football side, from Simon all the way through. We're getting really good games programs together for all the age groups. So from the really young ones right the way up to the under 18s. And that's what it allows us to do. It allows them the opportunity of getting to play the likes of, Man City or whoever it is. So we're planning a really exciting games programme across all levels. So that's where the emerging talent to centre of excellence. And that's what we've got the ability to do, and really see, get the most out of players, not just from a playing ability, but also from a confidence and just that social aspect as well. It's just something away from school, which can be a challenge, and it just gives them a different environment to learn, develop, get the skills and the confidence and communication skills, all of that type of things, engaging with different people, get them off the phones, get them away from gaming, get them outside, doing some exercise, all those different things.
Hearing what they used to say, or why don't you, if you're old enough to remember that programme. Switch off the TV set and do something boring, something less boring instead. Onto the ladies setup as well. Familiar with Rossett playing there? Good victory at the weekend.
Yeah, our under 23s beat Huddersfield 11-0. I know. So they're flying high in their league. They're number one, and our first team are doing all right as well. So they're joint third with Bradford, I believe, at the minute. So where we've come from in the last 2 years under Kate Donnan, who is amazing, is really good. She's attracting some great talent and developing them too. So that's going, in good places. We're hoping to host a game here as well when we can find the right date. Again, the last time we hosted a women's game, we had an all-time record. I think we had over 900 supporters, which is more than some of the big Premiership clubs apparently. So it's huge.
Going in the right direction, definitely. And then any other club news that you can share with us this evening, please, Sarah?
I thought I'd mention this one because it's. I don't know if we've got anybody from Synergy in the room, have we? Now I can't see. Is Jordan here? No. Synergy are a great partner of ours, Synergy Car Leasing, and they sponsor our kickback scheme. So the kickback scheme is our grassroots partnership scheme. So we partner now with its 20 junior clubs around the district that come to the games. They get complimentary tickets, obviously. Loads of different perks. So we've got over 4,000 children playing football in this district. It's huge. So we try and give back. We work with the clubs and the kickback scheme. So we get this email, right? And I'm like, is this a joke? So no, Synergy sent it through. And they're like, do you think this is spam? Is it real? So me and Joe, our commercial director, said, well, we'll have a look at it and we'll do a bit of Googling, Anyway, it turns out that the Global Football Industry Awards in London have shortlisted our kickback scheme because they get, for every ticket that is sold in association with the membership, how it works is they get 20% of the revenue back from us. We give it back to the club and they reinvest it so they can buy all their equipment, whatever it is they need really. Anyway, these awards recognises somebody's nominated it, but the thing about it is when we looked, we're like, this is sponsored by the Daily Telegraph, so it's decent, and then we're like, who are we up against? Because you always think we need to win, because I'm a bit competitive, just a bit. So we're up against only some small companies: McDonald's, Barclays, Adidas, AO, Coca-Cola, the Steven Gerrard Academy, and then us.
You'll breeze it. Breeze it. That's an easy win.
I'm not sure we'll win, but you know what? We'll milk the PR.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
So I'll let you know how we get on.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Sarah Barrett. Right, if you can hand the mic to Mr. Chairman, please. Sarah, Irving, good to see you. We'll dive straight into any updates on the training ground progress, please. The new season at Wetherby Races got underway this week, so how are you getting on with that potential partnership?
You may well ask. That is on. Yeah.
It is on.
Yeah, we've had a couple of years now just trying to satisfy the clauses in a planning application, and we do a pre-application so that we don't trip up on the formal procedure. And we're saying 2 years. I should think it's a bit longer than that. Three years, and we finally got to the last hurdle, and we should be fit because we've been over lots of hurdles, and it is exhausting. But we are just about there. I think this last week we got to an agreement that takes the handbrake off now. And then we've got to go to a formal application for planning. And that's open for contestation. You know, people.
So there's no length of time set on that.
Well, I think it depends on workload of it's Leeds City Council. Depends how they can.
Somebody's a fan.
Yeah, you may well ask. Yeah. No, but it's been difficult, but we stayed the course. So hopefully we'll get an application in within the next two months. I think.
And from where you started to where you are now, has it taken a lot longer than anticipated, or were you prepared for all those hurdles that you've gone over that you mentioned?
Well, that's part of what I did for a living, and so I did warn everybody, and I'm saying this could be a journey, and it's beyond a journey, but here we are. I mean, they even want to know why are we going out of our district to have a training ground. I did mention a few clubs where they have their Leeds are in Thorpe Arch. Chelsea are in on the Thames for a training ground, and it's almost irrelevant. And then how far away from the ground are you by car? Are you damaging the environment because you created more miles than necessary? Why you should be nearer your home? Well, actually, we're 18 minutes. We timed it, and 18 minutes on the speed limit, and that broke the barrier by two minutes. Can you believe the exhaustion of it? Anyhow, we're just about there.
Fantastic stuff. And what excites you about the prospect of the plans that you can put in?
Well, I got a bit of a come down, but there's two pitches. There's a 3G and there's a grass pitch, full-size pitches, and obviously some accommodation with gymnasium, and that's as important as the pitches, really, that you accommodate. Well, we've been talking about not just first team, but big enough to accommodate staff, because we're in a bit of a small office over there. So you all actually will all move up and be housed on a day-to-day basis, so everybody's together. But I was talking to, and I can't remember the club now, it was only recently we played them, and I said, we've got a new training ground. Oh, I think it was Grimsby. New owners, we've got a new training ground. I said, yeah. So how many pitches? 5. He looked at me and it was very good, he didn't ask me how many we'd got. And I didn't tell him. So that's the report.
Very good, thank you very much. Right, well, have a think, ladies and gents. Remember, any questions that you have, make a note of them tonight, and then obviously in the second I'll get to them. If we can hand the microphone down to Hamilton, please, Simon. We'll come to you first of all about the reward scheme that we mentioned before. So an exciting partnership with Harrogate Bid. Chances to win a big telly this weekend. I expected a woo at that point. Usually they don't do a woo. Thank you, ladies. So tell us more, Hamilton.
Right, so everyone should have received an email. If you're not on a mailing list, just let us know. I can add you on to that. But what we really wanted to do was to reward those loyal fans that come. Obviously, we do a lot for the fan engagement stuff. We do a lot with the kickbacks game and the junior supporters club. So, but it's important for us just to reward the fans that come to the games. So we've teamed up with Harrogate, and what's going to happen is that throughout this season we're going to be having competitions. So it's a process now where it started. We're going to have the big competition, which we're going to have a draw at the Accrington game on the 5th of December, and in that draw there's a chance to win 5 times £100 gift cards, which is open to all season ticket holders, and there's going to be £10, £50 gift cards, which are open to people who attended 5 games before the Accrington game. Okay. So there's going to be emails going out, and it just tells you how you can look at your account to show you how many games you've been to. But it's just basically, it's really, really good. These gift cards can be spread out with over, I think it's about 100 shops in the town, and that's both independent businesses and some big national brands as well. And then throughout the season there'll be more things to do as well, more engagement stuff where fans will be able to get percentage off at certain shops or different prizes, so working with local business and things like that. So obviously the rewards are based on tickets that are bought. The information can be found at the ticketing website and account, but if anyone's got a question, just come to me afterwards, or we have an email address which is townrewards@harrogatetownafc.com. Obviously the Harrogate bid will be headlining the partner for the first draw, and we'll be partnering with us throughout the season. And as I said, it's just basically to reward those loyal fans. So just keep looking out for updates and on social media.
And how pleased have you been with the work that you've done, the team have done as well for initiatives such as this? How it's built up over a relatively short period of time, and it's really going in a good direction.
Yeah, it's brilliant, it's fantastic. As I said, there are lots of all these initiatives that we do, and I think, to be fair, it was really rewarding last season when we saw that big increases in numbers, and you could tell that the projects that we've worked on, whether it be the Army Foundation colleges, the kickback scheme, the junior membership, you can see these numbers slowly coming together. Still working on other projects, but first time fans, I think it was a record number last season, and the feedback we get as well, obviously it's really, really positive. Keep on banging on about the Family Excellence Award, but it was a benchmark for us because it's such a big thing, because it helped us grow. When you look at the big clubs that were in the EFL, who didn't even get a silver, and it's just a credit to the whole team, because it's like I say, I'm fan engagement manager, but it's everyone's part of that. Whether it's the first team, it's Simon, whether it's Sarah, the SLOs, they've got fantastic support liaison officers that help out on the match day, the turnstile staff, and that's what that's the main important thing. So out of the whole 18 club, out of the whole EFL, only 18 clubs got achieved gold status. We were considered 3rd best in EFL2 and ranked 13 in the whole of the EFL. Okay, so you've got the likes of Leeds United in Birmingham City, Sheffield clubs. So it was as I said, it was quite an achievement. We also got recommended and got an award for the best refreshments. This was purely because of the quality and the variety of the food that we've done. There was some healthy stuff on there, some good quality stuff, and obviously vegan stuff. So it was a really good award to get. Anyone on social media will see there's some fantastic stuff that people post about. There's actually websites and Twitter accounts dedicated to football food. We're always away fans will come and take a picture of things and rate the food. More than not often it's quite positive feedback as well. So it's good. And when we got the report, obviously we always score high with the people. We got a 10 out of 10, which is fantastic. That's the fans as well. So we're looking at the family atmosphere, how the fans engage. You know, obviously we've got a dedicated stand now to a family stand, and it's just making it all feel people welcome. One of the things when Sarah and I went there, the AFL did a presentation and they did a study which showed that the clubs that do well in these awards, and especially the clubs that have gold awards, you can see quite an increase in attendances as well. So it's good.
Well, you talk about bringing people together onto the fan advisory panel. So if you can just give us a quick update with that, please, Sam.
Yeah. So basically, the fan advisory panel is just a fantastic tool to communicate with football clubs. I know every Premier League club you have to have mandatory, you have to have it. It will be mandatory in all the EFL clubs. But again, we use this as a tool just to look at the fan base, to engage more. We created the panel with the help of the SFA, Supports Association Federation, and they helped us, get this up and running. But we had some really good, I think Sarah said this before, candidates that were really strong, enthusiastic, and they all want the same. They all want us to grow, they want us to improve things, and just to keep on moving forward. We had our first meeting, and those minutes are available on the website. But one of the key issues that were brought up were away travel, communication, matchday experience. And what we were able to do from that, in the feedback, we had some really quick turnaround in what we could do. So what we did was we looked at the PA volume in certain stands. The feedback we got was quite loud, and people sometimes just wanted to have a talk to the person next to them, whatever. A lot of it is, to be fair, to do with the acoustics around the ground. And the weather conditions, but we basically like the cricket, so we did that. We had a poll for a song, so when obviously we've been trying to do like an anthem for when the players come out, and it's a great way to engage, try to get the atmosphere up, which I think it's a really big thing for this season, definitely on my agenda, is to get the atmosphere really going here. And what that did was we had a poll online, and basically people voted for what song they wanted us to play before the kick-off, and we all chose Country Roads, over 42%. So even though it's the match days, that's played. There's a few tweaks now and again which we're working on, but it's getting there, and when the time is right, it's brilliant because everyone joins in before the kick-off, and it just creates that little bit of extra atmosphere as well. Club in trying to promote the away travel, again for me it's important that we build that. So we worked with the panel, and John, I don't think he's here today, and the members on that committee do a fantastic job. But it's just to get more people to away games, and like I said, whether it's the home games or the away games, it's those people who come to like 2 or 3 games a season, that go to 3 away games a season. It's about getting them to come to more games, and the more people do that, it's fantastic. It's a great day out, and I know Simon and the first team appreciate it.
There we go, ladies and gents. Put your hands together once again. Hamilton Mattek, fan engagement manager. Lindsay, good to see you. Lindsay Barraclough, Head of Community Foundation, walking to school tomorrow?
Yes, indeed. We're going to Coppice. So yeah, well, my team will be, so it's very much a royal way.
So Harrogate will be at Coppice Valley tomorrow. Wherever I look, there always seems to be something going on with the foundation.
Yep.
So just tell us how pleased you are with where you're at the moment, with all the different involvements around the Harrogate district.
Yeah, okay, so I'll stand up so everyone was listening. I've been in post since January, so this is all very new to me. I've never worked in football before, so I'm still quite excited about the whole thing. I go to different grounds, I think it's all very exciting. So yeah, my role is to work on the charity arm of our football club. Every football club in the English Football League has one. We're probably similar size to the club itself on the smaller side, but we're small and mighty and really keen to make sure we make a difference in our community. We run quite a few different projects around the district. We work in schools, we offer free play football, we do some older people sessions, and we've got a couple of our founding members here I've seen tonight from our Talk of the Town, which runs on a Thursday afternoon at Bilton Library, and then we're about to start one tomorrow at Trinity Church on the roundabout. I can't remember which roundabout it is. So lots of different things that we do. I'm really keen that we continue going on the trajectory that we are. I think when I came in, there was a few things that just needed tightening up a little bit. We've got a great team that are behind us that are really keen and passionate to make a difference, and that's basically what we're about.
What's pleased you the most since coming in?
The power of the badge. It is real. I came from a health education background where we do in some ways similar things, but actually the power of the badge does open doors, and people really do want to be part of it, and they really do feel passionate about being part of Harrogate Town and being part of that community. And I'm really keen that we grow that, and that there's more people that we can touch along the way to do that as well.
And what are the key elements to growing that, do you think?
I think funding, obviously. That's obviously, we're a charity, so we run on a shoestring as much as we can. But equally, to be able to grow, we do need to find more funding pots, or whether that's either through different places, whether that's through sponsorship, just how we can deliver our programmes, but also about actually getting other people to engage with us as well. So if there is anything that you guys think of that actually we could really benefit from, that you guys could really benefit from, that we could start delivering, then we're always open to ideas. We have ideas about what that looks like, but equally, you guys are part of the club as well. So what you think that what our district needs is something that I think would be really key to be involved in as well.
All right, we'll have a think, ladies and gents. If you've got any questions for Lindsay, a little bit later, we'll put them to you before the night is over. Lindsay Barraclough, thank you very much. Gabrielle, how are you about? Now, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube interview with Simon, ladies and gents, the excellent interview that Hala's done. I think that was today on the training ground. This weekend, you're about to take charge of your 700th league match. How does that feel? That benchmark?
Yeah, I didn't realise until today, until that interview. And yeah, I can't believe where time's flown, to be honest. 2009, and you saying you signed up for us in January. You're still excited. I'm still excited. It was a good sign. Really happy obviously with the progress, but want more, and I don't want just games to go by, without creating excitement for the fans. And thank you all for attending this evening. It's great to see you're here again, and we want to win. We want to progress. The first day of pre-season, I wanted to make it clear to all the group what I wanted to see on the field of play. But before we went out on the field of play, I wanted to make it clear, the values of how I see our football club and how I see myself, the staff, in terms of what we stand for. Which was tell the truth, ambition, be really ambitious throughout, no matter what level we are, we're ambitious, we want to win every game of football, and we want to keep progressing every facet of the club. And unity, being together, and it's a challenge, but even today I've had a day where I'll probably, at some point, write what happened, because it was quite eventful, because it went back to those values, because we lost two on the bounce, and it really hurts, and I didn't really recover until Tuesday morning, and even then it's like a pressure on there, because I can't get used to losing. I just hate it, and so especially when it's so excruciating and frustrating. We've lost a game that we had a team by the throat. And I do feel that we're making progress, but when I look back at it, in my own house, on the laptop, know the outcome, with no volume on, and see it in the cold light today, you go, yeah, we're an emerging team. There's some exciting, absolute gems, parts of us, some of whom have signed in the summer. But I always have to speak the truth, because I can't just put it up in the training ground and go, truth, yeah, it sounds great. The truth is, we're still throwing games away where we should be winning. And so, speak to individuals. It's not about humiliating, swearing my head off in change rooms. It's not about that. It's delivering it sometimes cold and telling them the facts. Where we need to be better, so we can keep that ambitious value up. Because I don't want another year to go by and go, oh yeah, pat on the back, got to Christmas, scrapped, we're all unity, great, great, great. But remember the middle one, we're ambitious. And so I think we're moving at the minute and progressing on the backroom staff. We're keeping it fresh, it's important after all this time. Folks has come in with a breath of fresh air, once or twice a week. We discuss together the topic, what I feel he could be really right. Focus on this subject in training, go and deliver it. We discuss after. For instance, let's talk about a positive from last week. We were a counter-attack, we were building attacks, but also breaking them up because we were organised. Yeah, and then, right, don't just win it back and just pass for the sake of it. Go and hurt them. And so we were playing into Reece, we were playing into Conor McElhenney, Stephen Duke McKenna, and ripping through them. But the final end product wasn't always there. We scored 2, should have scored 6. And when you score 6, it gives everybody confidence. I'd be coming here tonight, I'd be like, whoa!
Gets the other team's confidence as well, their heads drop.
Yeah.
And it's...
So I gave him that topic today, and he was superb, delivered it as I knew he could, and in fact he is loud. He was so loud, I thought, we trained at Rothwell next to some woods, and I could hear his echo, and I almost went to the woods trying to find another Josh Falcon, because it's crisp, it's new, it's fresh, and I've named Thurs also recently like the choreographer, for us. So I paint the picture for the players in the walkthrough Thursday or Friday, in and out of possession. There can't be anyone better out there at doing that. He delivers it fantastically well. But going back to the truth, I'll tell them, and it's not just about delivering. Pete, you've been ever so good tonight. Thanks ever so much. Come again. I couldn't have a value as family, because family is unconditional love. We're professionals and we're getting paid money for it. It's unity, but people have to deliver. And there cannot be recurring themes coming up where we're getting unstuck and we're coming away with no points, because we had a good group of fans with us last week that stayed behind and clapped, and it was great. A lot of people probably here weren't present, and they just look at and find that emotional reaction, or anger, and I completely understand. But many people, many neutrals, takes me to, oof, got a team there. But we have to stick to the truth always and say, but we came away with nothing. And I'll have my way, because we'll improve the attacking facets, and we'll stop the switch-offs, or we change the team. It's as simple as that. We can't keep looking at goals going in that belong in a circus rather than a football pitch. We have to be better. And people have to face up to facts that can't continue, because we'll end up in a dogfight. If we polish that up and people are willing and able to be able to stay switched on for entire games, when we're trying to be a bit more expansive, then there's an opportunity to climb and rise through this level. Absolutely. But I don't want another case of having to compromise the style of play that we want to show the fans, that want to entertain. I don't want to be entertaining but then go, yeah, but you can't stay switched on. You can't do in possession and out possession. You can do out possession when it's backed against the wall, defend your 18-yard box, head it, kick it, because then it's we'll get through, we'll survive, yeah, brilliant. Maybe I'm asking a bit too much, but that's the challenge put to the players today, because I now want more. As simple as that.
And you mentioned that unity. When they are playing so well, the exciting stuff, you look, against. I was saying to Irving before we started tonight, ladies and gents, when the crew match was on, I was sat and there was some of crew's people behind me, and they were rattled, and it was quite amusing, really. I was chuckling to myself, and then for whatever reason, backed off, allowed them back into it. So my question is, the unity, how good are they at staying together in the dressing room and not arguing amongst themselves when perhaps there have been one or two individual errors along the way?
I think there have been a fair few individual errors. I don't think we've been dominated. I think that was probably the largest possession that we've allowed an opponent to have, and they build their game plan on total possession. But we had the goal that was our superb goal from Reese's cross, great, bang into the centre forward. Jack Mulline's playing better than ever at 36. Played Reese out there, he did superbly well down the left, whipped a great ball in, movement in the box from Muller's great 1-0 up. And it wasn't a directive to go bang there, but there was an appreciation that we block it up. Counter-attack, we should have scored. Counter-attack, another one, an opportunity. You get to 2 or 3, then they get stretched out even more, and you probably pick them off a couple more times. A set play that was well executed from them, got them back in the game. They have a little bit of a lift as an away team. We don't retain the ball as well, possibly new experiences for certain players on Sky Sports, live, a little bit excitable, a little bit jumpy. Show a bit more courage, which you try to incorporate in training, encourage. A bit of a learning curve for several against Crewe. But yeah, the final goal, unacceptable. Backing off out, it's like having a nightmare, you know, when you're in the dugout, when you can't shout loud enough because someone's attacking you. You know, it's close it down. And in the instance there, I think the vast majority of people will go, close the ball down. And we didn't see danger. And that's the thing that we have to sharpen up, without a doubt, because we'll come unstuck this season if the recurring theme is allowed to keep going. We've been back 4 months now, you know, we need to be better.
And how pleased have you been with their response in training this week and getting set to travel down to Colchester?
Oh, good. They're a great bunch of lads, that's the thing. And it's not to be misconstrued with, from my point of view, I understand as a football fan, the emotions. I'm emotional after the game. You know, the skip knows how emotional I was, and so does my right hand. But they get back to the coach. A long journey back. It was quiet, upset because we've thrown away an opportunity. But they're upset, and also because they're honest. You know, there will be moments in every changing room where people will be leap to the defensive because they don't want to be dropped the next game. They think, well, if I admit I'm at fault, it's a sign of weakness. I particularly like lads some of whom have stayed with me for quite a long time that go, I'm man enough. Hey, apologies about that, lads, and we move on. But they train hard. You know, we've got, you know, it's pretty ferocious training today. It was good, and we need to. People harp on about, you can hear a podcast, it's like Mick McCarthy, Tony Pulis, and there's a lot of yesteryear being discussed. It's interesting, I love it. We have to adapt to players, the current players. You know, it is different out there. There aren't, isn't a Roy Keane that's going to, there's Josh Falkenham. Even now, you know, not many, and that's why he's a general for us and an exception to the rule in terms of communication. But I can't harp on about yesteryear and, oh yeah, suddenly you're not going to drive someone into a leadership role and go, right, you have to be exactly like folks. People are different, and we have to adapt to them to be able to get everything out of them. But one thing we can't be, as a football and tactical team, is expansive and not talk at all or organised, because we're more spaced out in an effort to be more entertaining. But with that, you expose yourself if you don't organise those around you at some level. So we're trying to encourage that, but they work their socks off, you know, in training. They're very good at that. We don't want to just to just facilitate people's growth in the game so that another few get sold on and we stay put and we get in the comfort zone of a battle after Christmas. You know, we've got to go with them, with the lads who are excelling week in, week out, you know, and continue to give players, you know, who are doing so well, the ball and let them enjoy it. And the spirit's good, they're good. And the fact is, we keep saying, I'm telling you the truth for a reason, you know, and it can't be just when I go, oh, well done at that, you know, that's great, you know, it's fabulous, well done for that, without telling, well, I have to tell you now, we need to be better at that, this is what you need to do to be better, let's go and do it together, and that's where we show unity.
So they're giving you a bit of a selection headache, because the changes that you made in the Huddersfield game, for example, I felt those lads did really well.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, and that's what I want. I want, whilst I might speak to a few as I did today and say, it's time now, you know, it's time to be on it, because results dictate. And I think the difference when I was a player, you think, yeah, I might have lost the game, did I do all right? So, you know, I'm quite happy with that. But people have to be held accountable, and I write the team down, so it's ultimately my fault if someone messes up out of nowhere, because it's my team. But I do want that feeling of accountability in the team, so people step up and rise to the challenge. But yeah, there are qualities there that I'm sure everyone can see and be enthused about, but I don't want to waste any time. I want us to reach that way and head towards success rather than mediocrity.
All right, well, Simon, thank you very much for now. The gaffer, ladies and gents. 10 minute break, ladies and gents. To the loo if you need it. Grab your into the second half. So I've been sent some questions. Thank you to the few people who've sent the questions in to Hamill. We'll go through those first of all, and then by all means put your hand up. It gets my steps up, and I'll wander to you with the microphone, and we'll go along. So, ladies and gents, first of all, and this is to either Simon or Irving. This year is the club's 6th successive season in the EFL. As favourites year on year for relegation on one hand, to survive for several seasons is a great success, they say. On the other hand, every year the club is finished in the bottom half of the table. What would it take, or what needs to be done, for the club to finish in the top half and even push for a playoff spot? It's been handed to the guy. The book has been passed.
A bit more money.
You've got no chance.
Girls say that.
Well, the basics are we've got to score more goals and not do the defensive clangers. That's the story at the minute, which I talked about earlier. But I believe we've got a better squad to be able to break into that next batch of teams, to be able to do what the question is asking of us to do, which is achieve more. It's been a bit of a block by block because of, to the outside world, we're very proud of our world, but to the outside football world, we are relegation favourites every year for a reason. And there's multiple reasons, and they are backed up by even mathematicians, the highest level, looking at data and going, well, there probably should be this year going down, and we thrive on that stick, you know. And so I always I enjoy it being an underdog and going, right, come on, we'll prove you wrong, we'll show you we've got an edge, we'll fight you if we have to. We'll do anything to prove you wrong. But again, I think obviously that question was written before I've spoken before, so I don't want to bore anyone and go over that ground. But we are hungry.
It leads on to another one actually that was sent in about progression and potential, in the future, obviously promotion to League One. It was a 2-stage question. Do you think the club it's very obviously you're not going to turn it down if it comes around, but are preparations already there for the club to be in League One? And the other flip side of this question was, if the worst case happened and the club were relegated back to the National League, are there things in place to prepare for that? I don't know if that's something that either Irving or Sarah would like to answer.
Well, I'll talk about the promotion.
Yeah.
Where you look at the examples of Cheltenham and Crawley, no disrespect to them, they're not huge clubs. They went up, and Accrington as well. There are examples of clubs that in some eyes might be slightly bigger than us, and historically bigger, however, not much bigger. So there is proof that, and evidence that you can do it, and we wouldn't say no to it. Okay. Obviously, it's an even bigger league, even more outlay of money, even bigger, stronger depth of squads, and that's a challenge for us in terms of. It's always been a challenge when we've been 3-4 points away, and a psychological level. Are you ready to break into it? I tell you what, we're so hungry off the pitch to do it, and I now want to believe the next opportunity of doing it, we will do it. But it's a little bit of a bugbear with me where we've gone, go on then, and then like 4 out of 5 in terms of 2, Huddersfield, Mansfield, and the 2 league games, Shrewsbury, Gillingham, and then you go on now, let's go, let's reach for the stars, and we haven't managed that yet. So that's frustrating because at the moment, although we've got injuries, 5 injuries, we've still got a depth where you're going, yeah, we've got good players, we can do it. And so yeah, we certainly wouldn't turn down. And yeah, I'm not going to answer the other one, but are we prepared for relegation or something?
Yeah. No, we're not prepared for relegation. We're not prepared to contemplate it.
Not get relegated.
Not get relegated, definitely not. That's the answer. That's the answer, absolutely.
I think we've got proof of that.
Yeah, well, we'll move on. This one to you, Sarah, as Chief Executive of the club. What really winds you up with the bureaucracy, if I can say it, the red tape, basically?
All the rules.
Rules and regs.
What winds you up? I'll be here all night. Yeah, it's a good question, that. I was saying to somebody earlier, because I'm still new to this industry, I'm only 4 years in, and I've come from the outside world, which, I tell you what, most of the people you do meet, I go to a lot of EFL meetings, and most people have only ever worked in football, so that's a bit strange in itself. And then, you're scratching your head at times, why do we do that? Nobody else outside this industry, any other business, that would not happen. How many times have I said that? For every time I've said that, honestly, I think the biggest frustration I've got is the speed or the lack of speed of which things happen and decisions are made. Honestly, and you can ask a question about why have we still got that rule, regulation, whatever. Oh, well, because it's always been that way and it was set in 19 whatever, and you're like, wow, we're in this century, we're in this year. And it's just a speed, because I've come from a different background and worked always with autonomy and have been given that autonomy which I'm given now, certainly within the club, and I empower people hopefully to have autonomy as well. That's what we like to do. But you can only do that with so much, because you've got all this compliance and regulation which we need, don't get me wrong. But with the new regulator, what I talked about earlier, we're a few years into these discussions and we're no further forward, and that's frustrating, because we're now looking at another 18 months to 2 years before some action. By that point we'll be 4 to 5 years in, and that's a long time.
Nearly as long as the planning process for new training facilities.
That's another one. Okay, so
Another frustration.
we're nearly there.
Well, we'll move on to some positives. Where's Billy? So Billy's in. 12-year-old Billy. Hey, thank you very much, Billy. We've had some great comments. Thank you, Dad, as well. for sending them in as well. So Billy, ladies and gents, the fans from Skipton who come and cheer on town, very, very full of praise for what the club are doing, all the initiatives taken. One question which we've got is, what are the plans to reach out to those areas? You look at Skipton, Otley, for example, Ilkley, to try and encourage Harrogate Town fans to be born from other areas.
It's a really good question, and I have to be honest with you, since you sent that in, you're right. I think we've got an opportunity. We've been focusing on land grabbing our Harrogate district because that's your lowest hanging fruit, hopefully. People who live in the area, move to the area, born in the area, and that has been our kind of priority. There's nothing stopping us, and I think you're right. I think it's a difficult one because Leeds, as you know, that little club up the road we talk about, many people Leeds United fans as well as town fans. Yeah, I can see. But what we're finding is people really, well, we're accessible. One, you can get to see us live, you can't always get to Leeds, and they love coming here. It's a different experience. So I've had this discussion off the back of this question today with one of our associate directors, Mike, and funnily enough, he got talking to somebody who lives in Ilkley who is a town fan. So we expanded on that conversation, and we're going to look at the same initiatives that are working here in those areas, because and I don't know, which town are you from? Skipton?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know from my previous life experience working Pete knows, because we worked together when we acquired the licence to broadcast radio in the Dales area, and I remember going to Skipton for the first time and talking to various people. We were complete newcomers, and it was somebody from Craven College actually, and she said, do you know what, I've been here 15 years and I'm still a newcomer. I'm still regarded as a newcomer. And what I found myself was that Skipton is its own entity, Ilkley is its own entity, and so is Otley to some degree. They're not kind of aligned with anywhere. They're not, you know, if you look at Ilkley, it falls under Bradford's council and everything. Well, they don't align themselves with Bradford, and they're very similar to Harrogate in terms of demographic. So I think it's a real opportunity for us, and we will embrace that.
Excellent stuff, and thank you so much, Dad and Billy as well, for all the positive comments. Really, really appreciate it. And for making the journey across from Skipton as well. So safe travels back on the A59. Right, ladies and gents, I know that a couple of people said to me that you've got questions, so pop your hand up. I'll endeavour to get the microphone to you. Are we coming down the middle? Excusez-moi. There you go, sir. All yours.
I'd just like to ask Sarah, regarding this new football regulation, you were saying about how many people are going to get involved with all the development. How many people are going to be on these committees? It sounds to be a massive, massive job. A, where are they coming from? Are they all going to be volunteers? Are they going to be part of the football community? Or are they going to be government appointed? It's a very, well, it's worrying really, because I'm not sure whether it's a good idea to get governments involved at all in sport, because I think it might alienate us from the rest of the world, unless other people in the world are going to get involved with this.
It's a really good question, isn't it? To answer the first part, I don't know the number. They have, the way they address that is it would be run as efficiently as possible. So we're not talking thousands of people. I don't know whether it's hundreds or less. Don't know at the moment because they're still sort of building the team. But that was the answer. Who's paying for it? We'll be paying for it. There'll be a levy for each club. When we ask the questions to how much that levy will be, they don't know the answer to that, but it will be scaled, obviously depending on the size, Premier League down. So obviously, but we don't know how much we'll be paying, do we? Yeah, 10 million. Yeah, so I have no idea what that looks like for us. Yeah. What else was in that question, sorry?
The government, it worries me that the government's involved in anything to do with sport, and I know I know that it's been in the papers in the past that a lot of countries are saying if government is going to get involved, that we may be alienated within sport, and especially with football. I mean, we've got the best league in the world, we've got the best football structure in the world, and to get government involved could ruin it, and none of us want that.
Can I just add a bit to this? Rick Parry, chief executive of the league, started on a journey in 2019 and got to a point where 2023 we both went to Derby County to listen to they were displaying what the new income stream was going to be from the Premier League, involving £875 million to get the pyramid so it's not steep like that, and questioning parachute payments as well, which leaves Championship under pressure, but to get it like that. And this has gone through consultation, up there on screen, even had a month of the first payment. And the voting on the Premier League is 20 clubs and 14 carry the vote. In between that happening, to get it up on stage, where we're all accepting what's happening, obviously, the sustainability. And then Aston Villa got American owners, and Newcastle got Arabic owners, and they decided that they were not top 6, it's now top 8, so they carried the vote, and that's when it all fell away. As simple as that. So the only alternative, Rick Parry went down the line of, we need some authority over it, and that's how it happened. It was done because of circumstance, to get the base of finance, to get a proper structure of a pyramid, including National League. And that explains just how fragile the voting was. So the government had to play a part, because where else could he go?
£10 million would have been and there's legal cases between clubs and a lot more. No, I was just having a chat there.
I couldn't hear him.
But it was talking about £10 million to form it.
It's 10 million a year.
Funding a year, when there's legal cases between 2 Premier League clubs ongoing, amounting to far more than £10 million. How far that money will go in order to push things over the line, it remains a big debate. But I hope they do.
Just to add to that, I agree with you to some extent, but it's difficult for us to sit here and not support it when we've been saying we need some help desperately as an industry, as an EFL, tier 4 club. We need some intervention for the pyramid, because without it there are going to be many more Morecambes and Berries, Sheffield Wednesdays. It will go on and on and on. You can see it's going to collapse anyway. But it might be a case of be careful what you wish for. I can see that, but I think I've mentioned these figures before. If you think, well, it's not think, but it's a fact, the average Championship club loses £17 million every year. That's a fact. It's probably more than that now, that'll be out of date. The average League One club is losing, £5 million every year. And the average League Two club is losing £1.5 million every year. And that, obviously, that is an average figure. And somebody asked in one of the questions about how many tickets do you need to sell to be sustainable. Even if we sold out every match, that would not solve the problem. It really wouldn't. So, we rely on so many different revenue streams. And it wouldn't dent the Premier League. It wouldn't dent. For what we're asking, that'll be the equivalent of a couple of weeks' wages for one of their players that's probably never even played, he's sat on the bench. And that is the truth. That is the truth. So it's a very difficult one, and I can see your point. But where else do we go? It's really difficult. Sorry, that's really
I've been given the mic for the next question. Nice segue into my question, actually. What plans or discussions are there in place to increase ground capacity? Now, I don't necessarily mean new stands, because I know that's sort of been ruled out. I'm thinking letting more fans into the stadium to utilise the existing capacity and avoiding the sellout and then attendance of 4,136 and lots of yellow seats.
I love your knowledge there. Might be one out. When it becomes a problem for us, we sold out home tickets 4 times, I think, last season, including the FA Cup games. We haven't quite reached the supply and demand at the moment. We have changed the process this year for our partners, so all the different partners that get tickets as part of their packages, so they're not getting season tickets this year. They have to acquire them on demand per game, so we're trying to avoid that empty seat thing, because that really upsets all of us. Nobody wants that, so that's actually helped. We're not investing more in the stadium. We're more likely to look at how we move the away segregation for games where potentially they don't need the full capacity. That could be an answer for us if and when required. Yeah, safety. It's operational and it's safety as well. Of course it is, because obviously we're on Wetherby Road. We've talked about this so many times. It's more operational. We follow obviously a guide, a green guide, but it's also giving you the match day experience and that comfort as well in the stands. Yeah, you can cram more people in, but is that really is that going to be the best experience for the day? And obviously the facilities that go with that. We've got a really small footprint to play with. We're just not in that place at the moment where that's our biggest problem, in all honesty. If we were selling out every single game, so that's something we look at constantly. We lost 2 of the biggest clubs, obviously they went up with Bradford and Doncaster as well, so we haven't quite had the same demand. I think Oldham's probably going to be one of our biggest games this season. So there is room for a bit of growth, but we've invested a lot of money to make the changes to make us compliant with the EFL requirements, and a lot of the investment now is going to be fed into the training ground project, and that's our biggest need.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask a question about the Cup fixtures. We've made it to the next round of the Virtue Cup, and we've got the FA Cup draw against Mansfield. How are we feeling about those games? Will we be playing our strongest lineup, and will that make an impact on the league games before and after those matches?
Yeah, we're delighted to. It was good actually seeing the image of us top of the group, and the result went our way last night. The Mansfield game against under-21s, Newcastle under-21s. You not see that? We're through. Thanks for telling me.
How much do you get?
I'm at fault for not telling them now. Yeah. Anyway, look on social media. Anyway, great result for us. Delighted to be top of that group, because when you're top of the group with Mansfield and Huddersfield, and Newcastle under 21s, I mean, the amount of money that goes into a Cat 1 academy now. It's great. It's great. 2 good games. So we'll look forward to the next one. We want to do. I think that's a cup that is very much. If you get through to the next round, which we are through, then everybody starts taking it more seriously, because they think, oh, there's a route through here, potentially to Wembley, and I'd dearly love to go back there with everybody and this time with fans, so that'll be a big ambition to do well. So obviously we play a very, very strong lineup, and we can't afford not to go to Mansfield with our strongest lineup either, strong League One team. Could have been an easier draw, but I can't really control the way they come out of the hat. but nevertheless, it's still an exciting one, and it's easy to travel there, and hopefully we'll have a good away end following, and we'll be up for it, and we'll try and be a pain in the backside for them, and play well, and come away and get through to the next round, and so it's nothing like cup football really to get the juices flowing, and because a couple of years ago I made a mistake against Blackburn in particular, where well, they'll not play, the manager there will play their under 21, he'll play a young team. We've got Barrow coming up, we haven't got a big squad, rested a few really important players, blooded a few, gave a few minutes, and their lineup came out, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's playing all his internationals, this is a nightmare. So it wasn't a great experience for those young lads that played that night. I regretted that, because obviously then it can undermine confidence. So I'd rather, if people get injured, they get injured. You could get injured walking across the road, so we'll just go strong, really strong, and what will be in the injury situation, and hopefully we'll be fine, but think positive.
Yeah, thank you. And the other questions about this, the fans forums. Last year we only had 2, one at the start, similar time to now, and one right at the end of the season after it had finished. Is there a possibility this season of having one in like the January time to talk about the window and how the season's gone so far, rather than shoving the ball to the end once everything's finished?
Yes, yeah, there is no reason why not, just working around fixtures, schedules and things like that, but yeah, I'd love us to have 3. So yeah, we'll do it. You've heard it here, it's going out, it's recorded. We should find a day, but we can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your questions so far. We've got some more down here, yes sir.
I'm just going to ask, it's one for Simon. I think, like a lot of fans, Jack Evans has been a revelation for us as a signing this season. It's just been amazing, and I think Reece Smith has really made a transition into league football as well. So it was a bit of context really. Just how hard is it for a player to make that step from non-league into league football and establish like ours?
Well, I think it depends on a few things really, and talent. It's obvious that they've got natural talent, and with that gives you a bit of self-confidence. I also feel that their personalities are superb. They're intelligent. They're fitted into the culture really easily. I know from moving around a bit as a player, every player wants to be accepted in the changing room as a lad, but also as a player. They've walked in shoulders back. You could see just from meeting them and met them prior to them signing, and there's no problem personality-wise. They're great, really intelligent young men, and they're hungry. So which is superb. I think there's sometimes a bedding in period of players, whether them might be in the youngest side, where 20, 21, or whether people have been around the non-league circuit and go, oh, it's a step now. But with those 2 players, seamless straight away in pre-season. Also, you think, right, you can tell first day pre-season who's on it fitness-wise, who's been doing their real work, and they were right up at the front. So I thought another box ticked for me. Come prepared, ready, and they're excelling. They're absolutely outstanding so far, and there's no reason to think they'll tail off. I'm excited about it.
Any more questions while we're down this end? Ladies and gents?
Good evening. A question really for Irving. Sarah's already touched on the finances of football, and it's been suggested in the next 10 years that every club in the EFL will belong to a foreigner, particularly Americans. And I just wondered, have you ever been approached by a foreigner?
Not for football. It's a good question. 22 clubs in the EFL out of 72 now belong to Americans. So much so, the EFL have now got EFL US and an office and establishment. They've had to go with it. Actually, it's a shame it's moving in directions to another country, but it is changing the style of how clubs are run. It is lifting the profile. The Americans know how to sell themselves, and it's open trade. It's up to British people, English people, Welsh people, I better include them all, Irish, Scottish, to join in and compete. And they'll learn from us and we'll learn from them. So far, when going away, you meet them more on their own territory. There's been some great examples of how they've embraced English football. And it's very popular in America. And of course we're broadcasting now all over the world through the EFL and Sky Sports. So it's not surprising that I think what happens is that we have promotion and relegation. Most sports don't have that in America, and that's sadly missed, I think, and people like the adrenaline of fear and cheer. And I think that's unique for us. So it's here to stay. It's been successful in the last 5 years, and I'm sure it'll go further. I think it's a feather in the cap for those who come across the big pond.
Thank you, but you haven't really answered the question. And I'm obviously very interested in your views on the Americans. It's
only because I spoke too long on that subject and I forgot.
Has anyone come knocking on the door to buy Harrogate Town?
Well, the answer is no, and I think with a small club, you're not going to be as attractive as a bigger club. And the answer is no.
Thank you.
This is a question for Amo. Where we do a goal song if they score.
Sorry, what's that, Zach?
If
Will
they
we do a goals?
no.
Oh, right, yeah, goal celebration.
Yeah, like let's say if we score goals and like Fleetwood, they do score goals.
So when we score a goal, going down to say there's a quick song comes on. We did that, didn't we? I think years ago. Yeah. So
I don't think it went down well at the time.
no, was it? Yeah, was it the song? I don't know, but yeah, I do. Some people find it a bit cheesy or whatever. A lot of clubs do it though, to be fair, and it works. But I suppose we could have a conversation.
I think it's over to the fan advisory board.
Yeah, over to the fan advisory panel. Yeah, good question. Though.
Well done, Zach. Thank you. I seem to remember when we were at the CB Court actually. I think we put that one out, didn't we? Quite a good number of people went, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. I gotta be honest, that one at Fleetwood, that was it. Felt like I was at Alton Towers in a hotel or something.
Yeah, the third time.
Just what you need.
Yeah, the third time it really got to me.
Yeah, I bet. Any more questions, ladies and gents? Yes. That's handy, given I was walking this way.
Yeah, this is for the manager, Sammy, but do you think them lads out on the pitch now, do you think they're strong enough to take teams on, like physically strong? Like running wise, they're probably one of the best in the league, but physically wise, maybe that's what they need to improve on?
I actually think they are strong. It's a big league, isn't it? And bit by bit we're trying to get a few bigger bodies in there. Set piece is important. They often throw 5 or 6 big units in there, and strength matters. Sometimes when we're being under strength, in the I remember near last Christmas when I had a bad run. I think it was notable that quite a few of our bigger players were injured at the time physically, and we struggled with markers. And you can get blocks in the box. There's a lot of things that go unnoticed by referees, but it helps. Bigger bodies helps. they cost a lot of money, some big bodies out there at the minute, but it's good to get a good balance between mobility and size, that's for sure.
Yes, and it helps for the whole team because you get one person what's like doing both the work running and physically and winning challenges, getting the ball upfield, getting goals. That's what you want, isn't it?
No, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we have Ben Rome, who's outstanding as a strength and conditioning coach, and he puts them on strength programs, every one of them. So it's not like, you know, they park up, run out the car, you know, and run onto the pitch. There are programs that they stick to, and they're very dedicated. Even some players, then we have to rein them in a bit because then they'll go to the gym after, and you know, you don't want to wear them out. But they're strong boys. You know, we measure the body fats and everybody's under 10% body fat, some 5, you know, some they're absolutely ripped to shreds, to be honest, these days. And, I mean, if you see Jack Muldoon celebrate, it's been great recently because he's been celebrating a fair bit, and he's got this, you know, goal celebration where he's quite obviously tensing.
Yes, well, we all know he's like, you know, he's a really good player. He should be playing in, I think, he should be playing in League 2, he should be in the Championship.
With us, that's absolutely fine.
My opinion, you know, is above and beyond. He does above and beyond all the time, and, you know, top quality.
Yeah, don't tell him, we just got him right. Just don't.
But it's nice that we're getting all this broadcast now from Sky and all these different cameras, because it shows how these players are. You know, they can make it up to that level.
They're doing well. Yeah, they're doing well. Just keep going.
Yes, and another question about the fans going away to watch away games. Is there a bus on to take us there? We buy the tickets.
How does it work with disability?
Right, for
it's just a bus because normally other clubs have buses on there for fans to go, so they don't have to worry about travelling there. The bus will take them there, you know.
Yeah. So the Independent Sports Club, they run away coaches. We're in discussions with them, you know, to try to promote it. We do want obviously more numbers to go. Recently put a family coach on. That was last week, and it was, I think it was it near enough full? I think it must have been near enough full. So until, you know, I speak to Jordan regularly, and I think when it gets, you know, for example, when we played at Leeds, it was too much for them to put on altogether. So as a club, we came in, and myself and the team helped brought on, I think it was 10, 11 coaches, with the help of the Independent Sports Club. That worked really well. Any profit we made went back to the support of the club. But there is that facility in there. Anyone who wants to go away, Facebook Jordan, I can give you his telephone number, the email and the telephone number. I think it's on the website. It's in the programme. There's posters in around the ground, in the shop. And just to touch on that question you asked about disability, at the minute, no, but that's nothing to say. I've had discussions with Henshaws a while back ago, because if there's demand in there, we can look at doing that. But you know, just come to me, speak to the club, and we can always try.
So is there a bus for people to go to away games? Is there? Yes. Is there?
Yeah, going through the Independent Sports Club. Yeah.
So I think Jack, speaking on behalf of the Independent Supporters Club.
Hello. So there is a bus. The Independent Supporters Club run a coach to every away game, cup and league. The money which is made subsidising coaches down south, where one game a season we'll do a cheap trip for members, just to say thank you for travelling with us. The coach leaves from behind the cop on Lancaster Park Road. You can book through Jordan on the Facebook group, Harrogate Town Independent Supporters Club. It's also published on the club website. His number's on the bottom of the ticket information on the club website. But as for disabilities, all our coaches are wheelchair accessible. so we do accommodate for that as well. But yeah, just speak to Hamill, he'll give you a number, and you're more than welcome to travel.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the questions as well. Any more questions down this end,
I've
ladies
got
and
one,
gents?
I've got one.
We've got one question here.
And you might not like it. Right. I've been born and bred in Harrogate. This is my first year to come in here, and don't know why. I don't know how I decided to do it just this year. But I thought I'd ask you: have you heard of Purple Patch? We've got a research group who would like to make everywhere accessible, leaflets, anything. We would like to help anywhere which is local to us. So if you would like to get involved, ask Purple Patch. I am part of a research team since lockdown. We would love to help you, whoever. Just let us, we've got a website, get in touch with Hannah, numbers on the website. Yeah, I love it, and confident since I've lost my mum, they've been great. And if it wasn't for Gary, I wouldn't be coming to Harrogate football.
Thank you. And thank you for being here tonight as well. Is groups like that, Lindsay?
So if anybody wants to ask me any more questions another time, let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we do run some sessions that you might be interested in. I know Zach, he's probably he's our ambassador, so he'll put you in touch and see if you can get involved in any of our sessions that we deliver as well.
Ladies and gents, have we got any more questions for the panel, please?
Quite a difficult one to answer, really, but the FA Cup last year, have you got a sense as to how much of a boost it's given us? Because I do sense that we've got a stronger squad this year. Has the FA Cup had an impact on that? And I guess an appeal to play a strong side and get us to the third round again?
Do you want me to? It had an effect, an important effect on January, because we were able to strengthen Ben Fox, Bryn Morris, at that time, which was essential when we were short. And so, whilst you never can budget for doing well in the cup, because it's too much of a gamble if you do that. That's why we'll go all out in all cups to do well, because it brings in much needed revenue in order to strengthen. So the effect was soaked up really for the rest of that season, wasn't it? Not into profit in any way, but to reduce the deficit. And some of which was kindly, being able to access for the playing budget for January. Anything else? No.
Just on the playing side as well, Simon. How much of a boost is it? Very impressive. Young man, turned 21 earlier this month. Jacob Slater back from international duty. How much of a boost is that for you this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's been a breath of fresh air, Jacob, to play 3-1-3 with him playing. Straight away you could see him training. He's got class, and the way he carries himself as a young man as well. He's got substance. There's something about a good presence. He's obviously been brought up well, and watched his clips back of when he was playing under 21s, because it was a bit of a blow actually, when we lost him for the couple of games, but totally understandable, because if they get recognition for the country, then it's good for them and their development. And the game was played at Cork, which is quite a tight game, and he did really well against Slovakia. But great boost to us to get him back. He enables us to push him on, and more of a wing back, just go, and as you could see in his debut, the games after that, 1 minute he's back there, and the next minute he's by the corner flag. and he's just an absolute athlete. His running power is there, you know, on the stats that we receive after each game from Ben Rail, and it's phenomenal. But he's got a good brain, got good delivery, so great to have him back.
And one final question that was sent in last minute tonight. Do you think the 4-4-2 formation is a thing of the past? And if so, why?
Well, no, it isn't, because whether it's in the past or not, football goes in cycles a lot of the time. People, an upcoming team that we're playing very soon, they can play 4-4-2 and adapt their 4-2-3-1 and no pressure in a 4-4-2 to try and stop you playing out. And then they'll drop one up, one off, and one winger will come in narrow. And so there's a lot more fluidity to the modern game than just going right. In the old days, 20 years ago, you'd have 3-5-2 or 4-4-2, and that's the way it was. But now, because of the big change was the back pass rule, which made managers think, well, we've got to utilise the keeper, and we've got to play. And whereas you look at old YouTube clips, and it was right, even the Wembley finals, Ray Clemens would be smashing it down the middle of the park, but one bounce, and the big. There are different ways to attack now. That works sometimes, you know, and so it's a mix. Sometimes you'll see coaches who go real commitment to the extreme at playing out, which has its risks, and it's not been too predictable for us. You know, we don't want to fall into that trap. 4-4-2 can work when you've got great energy and you've got a forward that drops in, like Josh March was last year, or Jack Muldoon, that dropped in, and on our pitch last year we cut up. People weren't wanting to play on it, and were able to squeeze the life out of teams and be a handful round the ball, round the second ball, get balls in the box. Wanted to continue that in the same vein. We turned up to pre-season, the pitch is like a bowling green, people picking us up for fun between three lines of defence, and it was going to be a problem. So we put Reece in more central, we went 4-2-3-1, we automatic, just like that, just looked more fluid as a team, more passing options, more ability to build possession up through the thirds. If you've got high intensity, high energy, 4-4-2 works. If you haven't, you get found out. So it's not necessarily a thing of the past. Aston Villa played it with Emery when they were having a good purple patch and they went really narrow in the midfield. You know, it's still there, but there's a lot more variety of systems these days.